than murdered. All the friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. And the bird said nevermore.
You're listening to the Call Podcast with Brandon and Josh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new edition of The Call. It is a Baltimore Ravens podcast where we talk anything and everything Baltimore Ravens football. Thank you all for listening to us on all of your favorite podcast platforms, especially Overcast. And we are proud members of the Fans First Sports Network. What's going on, everybody? How's it going? It's been a depressing week as a Ravens fan, hasn't it? Hopefully, Josh and I can get your spirits up a little bit. But if there's a doctor out there
that's a
listening
big
responsibility.
To us, that's a big responsibility. We got to get everybody's spirits up. It's up to us on the call.
It is on us to
solely
do it.
On us. Okay.
Solely on us. That's it. We got to talk about it though. If there's anybody out there that's maybe a doctor in the audience, that could help us read some X-rays or doctor's reports.
You know what? This reminds me of. I got to do it. Animaniacs. Hello, nurse. Had to do it. I had to. Dude,
that's old school. That's going back a ways.
That is going back a ways. By the way, injury report this week. And we'll cover it because obviously there's some Ravens returning, and we'll get to some good news there. But the initial report that came out this week, holy crap, it looked like the emergency waiting room list.
I know, yeah.
Like
it would have been a shorter list to say who's healthy
for eternity and wait. Like the injury report for week 5 and the names on that. I'm like, dude, this is disastrous.
Well, Jamison Hensley came out today and said of the Ravens 11 Pro Bowl players from last year, 5 did not practice on Thursday, and that includes Lamar Jackson, Kyle Hamilton, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, and Pat Ricard.
You're killing me, man. Stop.
3 limited with injuries, Ronnie Stanley, Tyler Linderbaum, and Kyle Van Noy. They were limited in practice, and of course, Nnamdi Madubuike out for the year. So
Nate Wiggins also returned, as well as Devontae Walker with an oblique.
That's right.
So again, there's a lot of bad news and there's a lot of good news, but haven't talked to you since the massacre at Arrowhead. Again, you heard the wake up call. I still had to that was a raw reaction. I've recorded that hours after the game. And I'm still befuddled. I'm still look, I'm wearing my Angry Runs t-shirt from Gus Edwards. That word angry, I mean, apart from other adjectives in Ravens Nation going on, man, the fan reaction has been through the roof, between Harbaugh and the injuries and I'm where do we begin? And then obviously with Lamar's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. Oh, and he might play. There's a yo-yo effect there. The spread of the game is swinging each way. As soon as the Lamar news came out, the Ravens were 6.5-point favorites. Apparently, they swing to the underdog side, and the Texans were favored by I think 2.5. And last I looked, I think the game was 1.5. I'll pull up live sportsbook to see where we're at, but that's not good for a 1-3 football team coming into Baltimore. And both teams sitting 1-3. And look, the Texans, they haven't been moving the ball in offense. It's no secret, right? Now, everybody's like, what about their defense? Their defense is sneaky good. They're not elite, but they're still averaging less than 20 points a game giving up. Even though they're 3-1, they're 3-1 because the Texans don't have any form of offense. Obviously, Mixon went down, and they still don't have Tank Dell. And it's pretty much Nico Collins. And I tell you what, this Marks running back, who I picked up in fantasy this week, dude, he went off last week, and with the Ravens' inability to stop the run, I'm concerned. There's the word I'll probably use all day and every day is concerned, but I've heard national media reaction. I've heard terms like unprepared, undisciplined. Dude, we could probably record the show for 2 hours to go over the problems that the Ravens have right now. I mean, they're not giving Henry the rock. They don't have an identity. Yes, the injuries are a key part of that, but I'm still trying to figure out how the Ravens go down on the first drive against the Chiefs. It looked like it was going to be a game on, right? And look, there could be a component to that. It's called the chess match, which is called the NFL. And Spags, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, probably adjusted. But it's like the Ravens couldn't do anything after that. It's like that first drive happened, and it was like everything was broken. Like, couldn't run a play. They looked erratic. They looked panicked. They looked scared. It literally looked like rookie Lamar running back there. I hate to say it. Like, it was ridiculous. You know, taking sacks, turnovers. Lamar had 2 turnovers, the first 2, and again, fumble. I don't even know where to begin, but this is a mess. And then with the injuries in that game, and they kept piling on, I'm like, dude, I sat there and I was like, I could have went golfing. Like, this is like, I could have been like, I want to do anything else but watch this game. Like, I was so disinterested, dude. And like, and it's no secret. Look, my birthday Sunday, the Ravens play at home on Sunday. I'm going with my dad. It's going to be a great day. But it's like, I can't even get hype. Like, I'm hyped for my birthday and it's a great weekend, but I'm like, it's like if Cooper Rush starts this game, like, dude, like, this is bad, man. Like, the Ravens are 1-3. Who'd have thought that? And it was brought up on the national media was pointing this out. Ravens and Indy, right? 1-3, 3-1. The wrong. It's like not to discredit what Indy's doing over there, but like, it's like 3. The Ravens are 1-3, man. Like, who would have thought we'd be in this position? I mean, and with the injuries, it piles on, man. Like, this is it's disastrous. Like, this season could get out of hand really quickly. And I've been discussing a lot with my friends this week about looking at the schedule, and like, because you have to look at it, right? You're looking at long term, like, where can they reel off wins? And their schedule is somewhat soft given the opponents coming up. But I'm like, the Rams coming to town next Sunday. Puka Nacua is a machine, PPR machine. Like, the Rams are going to tear into this defense like nobody's business. I know we have to cover the Texans first, right, before we can get to the Rams, but there's a bye week looming. So that's all important in 2 weeks. The Ravens are home for the next month, right? They don't play an away game until the 30th of October in Miami. And obviously Miami, there's injuries all over the league, right? Like, it isn't the Ravens, it just comes in bunches. It's just like one guy. Like Malik Neighbors went down this weekend, lost for a season for the Giants. Tariq Hill, disastrous knee injury, tore like every ligament in his knee. Crazy. A lot of injuries, dude. I mean, the Niners are depleted. It's happening across the board, but man, with just our team here, it's key names. It's very important names. And it came in bunches on Sunday. And it's like, the outlook is bleak. And like you said, like, it's up to us to, bring the spirits up. Like, I don't know, because after the reaction, and I love to hear your point of views. I haven't yet to talk to you about it, but like, Harbaugh really got under my skin this week. Dude, if you didn't watch the press conferences, didn't he seem a little like very short as normal, icy a little bit? Like, something's up. He was throwing his coordinator under the bus, but then praising the coordinator who shouldn't be praised. Like, things are going crazy and there's no accountability. I'm pretty frustrated beyond belief. I don't even know where to go from here.
Obviously, you got to start at the top when you're annoyed with an organization like this. So you do have to be annoyed with John Harbaugh and the play calling, and you have to be annoyed with the offensive coordinators, and you have to be annoyed with the defensive coordinator and the locker room leaders. But you also have to be really annoyed with all of these injuries. I'm looking at like the training staff. It wasn't that long ago that the Ravens got like a D or something from a player poll talking about how much they disliked how the Ravens players were treated by the coaching staff, like the trainers and that kind of thing. With all the players going down with hamstring injuries or calf injuries or something like that, I'm looking at the trainers and the physical therapy people on the Ravens staff, because why is everybody getting the same exact issue? I mean, remember, what was it, 2021? Where J.K. Dobbins went down and he had an Achilles, and then it was Gus Edwards went down. It wasn't his an Achilles as well. And then Marcus Peters went down, all within the span of like 2 weeks. And that was
in training camp. Remember it was in training camp. And then I think it was that same preseason Dobbins went down against Washington.
Right.
Was it that year?
Yeah.
It was like everything was like, they didn't even play a regular season game and we're already losing players. And you're like, oh boy.
Yeah, and I think after that is what happened. After that happened, some of the training staff and whatever got like an F in this player poll. So I'm wondering, like, did they make the improvements? If all these players are getting hurt at the same time, is that just a coincidence? Really? I mean, it could be, maybe. I don't know. But we'll see what happens long term. Luckily, except for Nnamdi Madubuike, it looks like all of these injuries are not season threatening. It's kind of like a week to week deal. And again, luckily for the Ravens, the hardest part of the schedule is over. You know, we had starting off the season, you had the Bills, you had an AFC North opponent in the Browns, you had the Lions, you had the Chiefs. 3 out of those 4 are going to be in the playoffs, and there's a chance you meet them in the playoffs if the Ravens can get there. But
I would have to make a remark on that, though. I get what you're saying with the hardest part of schedule being over because you played the Chiefs and the Bills on the road. Yes, their schedule gets a little softer by the quality of opponents. And again, you never discredit the NFL opponents because they have no wins, 1 win, 2 win. Wasn't it a team? What I forget what year it was. Wasn't it where the Ravens were playing the Dolphins and they were winless and the Ravens ended up losing to the Dolphins? That was their only victory of the year. So like you never discredit an opponent, but the back half of this schedule after October, they play 5 of their 6 division games left, with Green Bay included there. Now the Patriots are thrown in there and the Jets, but like. Look, the Bengals are without Joe Burrow. You can count it for what it is, but they got to still play the Steelers twice, the Browns one more time, and they're a mess with changing quarterbacks. Speaking of that, it's week 5. Look at the AFC North. The quarterbacks are some rookie they're going with the rookie now. They benched Joe Flacco for the Browns. They're going to rookie. Lamar, I don't even know what's up with Lamar's in question. So let's say Lamar doesn't play, or he's in jeopardy not to play. And then you have Burrow out. It's like it's Aaron Rodgers and the backups. Like, this is ridiculous, the landscape of the AFC North, man. Like, who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, this is not the AFC North of old. This is not the Ray Lewis AFC North.
No,
this is
definitely
a different beast. But yeah, you've got, Joe Flacco, you've got Aaron Rodgers, both guys in their 40s. You've got rookies now coming out. You've got backups because Lamar Jackson is a giant question mark, even though he has missed 2 practices in a row this week. Let's see if he comes back on Purple Friday. But if he's missed 2 practices already, I highly doubt he's going to play. And Cooper Rush, when he came out in relief at that Chiefs game, didn't look great. So I have to wonder if Tyler Huntley gets the call next week. But at the same time, he was kind of put into a tough position because it was being brought in at the end of the third while you're already losing. Now he's got a week to prepare for a less than stellar team, but the defense still for the Texans is a hard one to beat. And this is what Cooper Rush was brought in for. He was paid big money to be a backup quarterback so he could prepare and be ready as a backup QB whenever he's needed. And he went 4-4 last year for Dallas. So he's been in this boat before, but I don't know what's going to happen next with this team. I'm intrigued to see what happens if Cooper Rush is going to be there, but he's no Lamar Jackson. So if Cooper Rush is playing, there's a good shot that the Ravens are walking away with an L on Sunday.
And to add to that, I don't want to pile on the bad news, but facts are facts. Stats came out when he was a starter when Dak Prescott went down in Dallas, right? Everybody's he's a starter. He did go 9-5, so he had a winning record. But oddly enough, listen to these offensive ranks when he took over as a starter. Mind you, there are 32 teams in the NFL. 32nd in touchdowns scored per drive, 13.7. 28th in yards per play at 4.9. 28th in points per drive at 1.6. That doesn't spoke confidence at all. And these guys are backups for a reason, and it's hard to ask a backup to just jump in, right? And you heard the press conference, right? Like, Andrews got his back. Of course, the player's going to have the guy's back. They're not going to go up there on a podium and be like, well, Cooper Rush, it's a backup. Like, we're allowed to say that here on the call. We're not employed by the Ravens. Like, that ain't our guys. Like, but I'm a little bit concerned, man, just like you are, because and not even counting the long touchdown that Justice Hill had, because I felt like the game was out of reach at that point, kind of like the touchdown they scored against the Lions. Like, who cares? Like, it looked like the defense just gave up for the Chiefs and just let them right down the field because it was a wide open play. But, like, I don't even count that. Like, the offense couldn't do anything. It'd be a different story, Brandon, and a little ray of sunshine or any sort of hope if Lamar went down and then Cooper Rush came in and, like, they started moving the ball for some reason or something positive happened. But, like, nothing positive happened after those injuries. Nothing. Like, it was like, literally, like, it was kind of like I started watching other games on my phone, tracking my phone. Like, I literally just I almost couldn't wait the game to be over. Like, I was so disinterested. And because it's like the Ravens didn't have a chance. It's not like they were like, okay, well, Lamar went down, game's close, and then the Ravens put up a fight. Like, and I hear it all the time. The other side was like, well, we've been in this position before. Remember, Tyler Huntley took over as a starter, and we ended up in a playoff game. And if he didn't fumble at the goal line, we very could have well beat the Bengals in that playoff game. I said, I get that, but if LJ8 don't play, that's huge. You can't replace that guy. So let's just call it what it is. And I'm a little critical of him too, because like I just don't understand. It could be the line play with him running around out there, but like he's got to hold on to the football, man. And the interception, first of the year, he threw a ball up. It could have been. It looked like to me the ball was underthrown. It looked like I think it was the Andrews as the intended receiver, couldn't make a play, but the fumble, inexcusable, it can't happen. Again. It's the ML on him. When the game's online and it shines bright, it's like I don't know if the Chiefs are kryptonite or if a playoff games is kryptonite, but it's here we are again talking about it, and it's been the talk of national media all week long. And it's been a back and forth debate of folks are trying to throw Lamar under the bus again, where you were just praising him 3 weeks ago. It was like, like even the Bills game, everybody's like, Lamar played great. The defense led up, and then all of a sudden it's Lamar fumbles, and it's see, told you. It's like pick one, pick a side. Don't be flip floppy. But I just everything's bleak for this Texans matchup, man. With the starters out, I feel like Nico Collins is going to go off. I feel like Nick Chubb. I mean, remember him, AFC North guy, Browns player. He's a familiar name. You got Woody Marks. I just don't know. Now, Stroud's taken a few strides back. Hasn't been the same since his rookie year, and I just don't know if he's been shook up from that Tank Dell injury, because it seems like this Texans offense, which was highly touted, hasn't been the same since Stroud's rookie year. He's regressed a little bit. So, but we thought last week was a must-win with the starters. I don't care who's on the field, man. If the Ravens fall to 1-4 after Sunday, it's bleak. And history is not kind to teams that start 1-3. The last 1-3 team to make the Super Bowl, you know who that was? It was the magical run of the 2001 Patriots against the Rams. That started the dynasty. That was Tom Brady and everything, and took over for Drew Bledsoe. It was that year. The last team to start 1-3 make the playoffs was the Rams a few years back. And and statistics aren't great. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard to even make the playoffs, let alone even make it to the Super Bowl and turn the season around. And everybody's trying to make sense of it. Like, okay, well, if you just get to, if you get to 2-3 in this game, and then, okay, let's call the Rams game a loss. You beat the Texans, you lose the Rams, you're 2-4 the bye week, you get healthy, Lamar comes back, you rattle off wins against, the Dolphins, the Vikings, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, we came back on the other side of 500. I'm like, I get the optimism. I get it. But the way things look right now in this lens, I'm just concerned about the Texans game right now. Like, I'm highly concerned. Again, the Ravens are 1.5 point underdogs to an equal to a 1-3 team coming in, which they were almost a touchdown favorite early in the week. It's a problem. The other problem that I have is with the Texans matchup. Again, we get the struggles on offense with the Texans, but the defense, I don't know if you took a peek at the ranks on defense, but it's bleak. The Ravens are pretty much, again, dead last in every category. 27th in rushing yards allowed, 29th in passing touchdowns allowed, 31st in pass yards allowed, 31st in rushing touchdowns allowed, 31st in first downs allowed, 31st in total yards allowed, and 32nd in points allowed. Where's the accountability for Zach Orr? There it is. Where's the count? There's a desk pound for you. Where's the accountability? But then Harbaugh wants to throw a shot at Monken for play calling. You're the head coach, John. Take over. And it's already been said out there. Derrick Henry, for whatever reason, Hall of Famer, you're not giving him the ball. He had 8 carries in that game Sunday. 8. Everybody's like, well, the Ravens were behind, so it's scripted. Does that mean because you're behind 2 scores, you pass it every play? No. Feed him the rock and get the thing going. And the Ravens actually, I think they lead the league in percentage of not giving run plays on first and second down. Henry has the least amount of carries on first and second down in the NFL. And if it's not the very least, it's close to the very least, if I heard it correctly. That's certainly not something you want to be proud of. You bring in Derrick Henry. I was like, what'd you bring in him for? It's like the Eagles' usage of like A.J. Brown. Like, why don't you just trade him? Like, you don't use them. Why don't you just trade them and why don't we trade Derrick Henry and get defensive players? Because obviously we don't use Derrick Henry. I don't understand it. The philosophy, Brandon, I just don't get it. The Ravens' identity, it's like they want to push the ball down the field. They want to be this pass-happy throw offense. Yes, Lamar can do it. And I have trust in the receivers and the tight ends, but that's not the identity of this offense. They did it in the 2023 championship game where they were the number 1 rushing team in the league going in the playoffs and number 1 seed, and they just forget to run the rock in the championship game to get to the Super Bowl. We unpacked that back then. Like, here we are again. They just don't, for some reason, don't like to run the football when it's their bread and butter. And you got Derrick Henry in the backfield. They went away from it. Look what he did to the Bills game. Gashing him all over the place. Feed him the rock. He gets better when you give him more touches. And then you want to figure why he fumbles. Could be a confidence problem. I don't know. But I think there's a correlation there. I mean, I know he fumbled in the Bills game when he had a stellar stat record and had all these yards in the 2 touchdowns, but still, something's up. And it starts with coaching. It's got to start with accountability, and there's a lack of it. And frankly, I'm sick of it, and I didn't appreciate me as a fan, a lifelong fan of this team, and John's been here so long. I'm getting sick of the message. He gets up there, and he's icy, and they're asking about the injuries, and of course they're going to get questions about the injuries because that's the big elephant in the room, right? You just had half your team go down in one game against the Chiefs. You're going to get questions, and he's like deflecting. He's being very short and curt with the media. Like, I don't appreciate that. Get up there and take accountability. Get up there and answer the questions. And again, you can read between the lines all you want, man, but I don't know. Maybe John's fed up as everybody else, and that's just his attitude about it. I don't know, but I didn't appreciate it at all. I don't know. And your shirt says win big. They got to win. They got to win big somehow, some way. They got to find a way against this Texans team. And I can sit here with you on the show and say, I already said on the show, run it back. I said there was no path. I don't see a path to victory in Arrowhead with the team that they had. And with all the question marks around this team, again, I don't see a clear path to victory. Help me understand, but I don't. And I'm not going to sit here with my cup here and drink the purple Kool-Aid and say everything's fine and they're going to go out and win because it's like, yeah, I'm ride or die as a fan, but I'm also a realist and I understand that there's a rash of injuries that impact this team and it's far-reaching. They're without their star linebacker, one of their star corners. Everybody's banged up. The offensive line's terrible. Speaking of that, did you see the video on Falele?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
What ever. He looks lost in space. I forget who it was on X that put the video out there, but his reaction was like, he's like, Falala, what are you doing? And literally, Daniel's just like, the play starts and he's like blocking air, like no Chiefs player, just like standing around. What are you doing? And you want to know why Lamar's running around for his life, you can't get the clean pocket. He's sacked 20 times in 2 games. Dude, I don't know. Dude, this is a mess. It's a mess.
I know John Harbaugh doesn't like Ben Cleveland, but it can't get worse than Daniel Falele. Like, can it? I don't know, but I don't like to single guys out and that kind of stuff. But his play for the last 2 years has just been less than stellar, and it just I don't know what Falele is ever doing out there on the field. He just constantly looks lost.
Yeah, dude, this team's got problems, and it starts with coaching. They're like Dan Orlowski pointed out, they're unprepared. They looked unprepared. They looked unprepared. It's like they went right down the field, and when the Chiefs like locked them down, it's like they didn't know what to do. They were like, "Oh God!" And they just started playing backyard football, running around. Can't block for Lamar. Let's not run the football, and let's just wing it on hope and prayer. And don't get me started on the play call. 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1 short. You can't give it to Derrick freaking Henry. Then you got Lamar going back, spreading it wide, no pass protection, and then he's trying to run around, make a play. That's inexcusable. 3rd and short, 4th and short, give Henry the rock. And I don't care. Oh, well, if they line up and they're going to stack the box, run a bootleg with Lamar or do a play action and flick it over their heads. I don't know. It's called the game of football, and I'm not no NFL coach or an expert, but the game of football is like chess. You anticipate the opponent's move, and you do something better than you anticipate their move and counter it. You have to look moves ahead, like, okay, well, this is probably what they're going to call, so we're going to. But it's just, dude, I've seen enough. I've seen enough. And whatever Ravens they deploy on Sunday, they got to find a way to win it no matter what. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when, but they got, dude. This is a season saver game right here. Difference between going 2-3 right now and 1-5 is massive, and they have to get to the bye week no worse than 2-4. If they somehow find a miracle win against the Texans, and then somehow put a lid when we cover the matchup against the Rams, and they somehow put a lid on that offense, and they somehow 500 at the bye, then we can sit here and rejoice. Like, oh my gosh, Christmas miracle early, it happened. But no, must win against the Texans right now. I mean, if you look at the AFC arms race, in Indy and Jacksonville are sitting at 3-1. The Ravens are 1-3. Yeah, I ain't even looking at the division because we know what the Steelers did in Dublin. They won and the Ravens lost. So now there's a 2-game lead with the Steelers. Steelers are sitting alone in first place. Ridiculously disgusting. But then you look at okay, if they can't take the division gets away from, you have to look at the wild card. They might even make the playoffs as a wild card team because there's teams above them. And it can get away very quickly. Now, Jacksonville does play the Chiefs this week on Monday night, so things can get a little tighter, but look, a combination of everything, man. Injuries happen, but this is bad. Play calling's atrocious. The preparedness is not Raven. This is not Raven football, man. What happened to play like a Raven? None of these guys are playing like Ravens. Like the first 3 quarters of the season in Buffalo, that was playing like a Raven. For some reason, I saw a screenshot, and level with me here. Someone screenshotted right before the Bills scored when it was 40-25 and said, imagine telling Ravens fans that they will be 1-3 at this point in the from this point on. No one would have believed that. Brandon, this is bad. And you're shaking your head. I don't have answers. I mean, we're all frustrated. You can hear it, but none of us know what to do. I mean, we just got to sit back and watch, but my goodness, this is a train wreck.
Normally, like you said, play like a Raven. There's another saying that we have up here all the time, which is next man up. If somebody goes down, we've got somebody built in and next man up. I don't know if this team built on just practice squad members are going to be able to do anything. You know, we brought up Cooper Rush, but what's going to happen with Roquan Smith? What's going to happen with Marlon Humphrey? Jair Alexander, he played game 1 and hasn't been seen since. He hasn't made an impact whatsoever. Nate Wiggins is banged up, but he came back on Thursday, so it looks like he should be okay.
Kyle Hamilton. Off.
Yeah, I was surprised he was back at practice.
When he was on a cart holding his arm, I'm like, he's done.
Yeah, I figured that was a break or something, but now he's back on the field.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this this team can withstand that many injuries and that many practice squad guys at the NFL level. I mean, they're bringing up, they're signing veterans right now and putting them in a Ravens uniform and saying, hey, go out there and play on Sunday. You know, it's this is not a recipe for success, but right now it feels like it's just survive. That's all you can do is just survive for this next game.
I have to pull that gif out. Survive. But yeah, right now is right. They just got to survive and somehow have more points on the board at the end of the day than Houston Texans. I mean, the saying is Houston, we have a problem. Now, Baltimore, we have a problem. Let's flip that. Yeah, this is going to be interesting for sure. It's going to be one crazy birthday to remember because I got to watch this train wreck to see what happens. But now I'm going to enjoy the day. Going to game.
Are you at least going to the tailgate beforehand?
I am not this time. No tailgate. No, I am not. No, we did the tailgate for the Browns game opening day of the season. It was great time. John and Jimmy's and his staff and crew always throw in a party, and I am not partaking in the tailgate this time around. Me and my dad are actually going to do a little bit of our own thing and actually go to Flock Shop, and apparently they're opening the top level, they called the landing or whatever. So we're going to go to Flop Shop. I told them all about it. So we're going to go in there and check it out. I implore fans to check it out if they go to the stadium. It is literally like a mall. They've done a fantastic job with the Flock Shop and what they've done there in the upgrades to the stadium. The Flock Shop, I don't have it with me, but I did buy the when I was there for the Monday night game. I went to the Flock Shop and bought the Darkness hat that matched my hoodie. They came out that new Darkness Falls hat. I did get the hat that has the Raven eyes and that on that. So ended up picking that up at the Flock Shop, and they do a great job. So again, always support this team. Die hard through thick and thin, but this is the thick of it all, man. We're in it, and we've covered these things before, man. I mean, we've been there where the Ravens with Flacco were depleted. Remember Flacco going out, and it was the likes of Ryan Mallett, rest of soul, and Jimmy Clausen. We've been there. And look, remember the Ryan Mallett game where he beat Pittsburgh, and I think he kept him out of playoffs, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember if that was the case or not. That. So, I mean, it can happen. We've seen it before with backups, but there's one thing with just one backup or backups, but the injury report's ridiculous. And that's where I'm just trying to I want to have faith, but I'm losing it because I'm just like, you can't replace these players. I know you said it's next man up, and I get it, but like Roquan Smith, All Pro Hall of Famer, Lamar Jackson, if he ended his career now, no one would probably like to hear this. I'm sure Lamar hears, but yeah, Hall of Famer by just a sheer resume. You can't replace the talent there. Marlon Humphrey, Albrecht, you can't replace it. And apparently Kyle Hamilton was missing from practice this week too. You can't replace these guys. Like, and it's key, and it's a lot. The defense was already bad, and this is why I'm concerned, man. The defense was already bad before these injuries. They have injuries in key spots, and it's everywhere. And, losing Nnamdi for the season, heartbreaking. These players being out for a few weeks, we just got to get to the bye week at 2-4 at the very worst. No questions asked. If they lose out to the bye week and we're and this team is 1-6, or no, 1-5, yeah, mail it in. That'd be a top 5 draft pick probably for the Ravens for a first time in forever, and it means that draft day next spring would be all more important. Because they
I'm not looking at the draft
I
yet.
can't remember the last time they picked inside the top 15 unless they traded. It's been a while. But I'm not looking towards April. I'm not looking towards the draft just looking for Sunday. I get it.
Yeah, I'm looking at Sunday. So
what happens? It causes us to look into the future of all kinds of things, man. We don't know what to do around here. Trying to make sense of all this mess. I don't know.
We got to look at what's going to happen on Sunday. If we look in the past at the schedule release, you and I both picked a W for this game, but I don't know. I feel as if even if Lamar Jackson miraculously gets out there on Sunday, I don't see this as a W for the Ravens right now.
I have to agree with you. I hate to even go there, but facts are facts, and it's the way I feel. Show us. I always say that when we predict them as a loss here on the show, I always say, prove us. Prove us wrong, and we can come back here on the mics and be like, hey, team surprised us. And it's kind of like having that like low expectations. Like if you go into like, they're not going to do nothing, and all of a sudden they come away with a victory, like, oh, they might shock you. I I would feel a lot different if it was like one player that went down and they kept the game close against the Chiefs and it was another nail biter like they did last year with the toe tap with Likely, and it was a close game. But like this game was, I mean, they scored at the end and it still made it a 17-point game. That's why I said before that game, I've always implored everybody. I was like, when was the last time the Ravens got blown out? And it was kind of like a tale of two games because even with the game so out of hand and so far out of reach with the Lions game, that last score still made it an 8-point victory for the Lions. So it still kept it in single digits and kind of like that 1/2 possession with the 2-point conversion. But like they got routed in Arrowhead. Like that, they got beat. And I know the injuries are a lot part of it, play calling, there's a lot to go on, but like, I don't see a path to victory for the Texans given the current state of affairs for this team. Hoping that some miraculous Baltimore miracle, something crazy happens and a victory. That'd be great. You know, I always say, hey, I don't see a path to victory, but hey, if you can get a birthday gift for me, somehow pull out a dub. That'd be something. That would be surprisingly fantastic for me, man, to remember that one. But we shall see when they line up on Sunday, and the Ravens are wearing their all purples. They're not the purple rising with the helmet, but they are wearing all purples on this one. So you could probably call it purple pain, where it's definitely painful. But purple jerseys with the purple pants, it's going to be a good combination. But got to go out and execute. Henry's going to be the focal point of the offense. They got to get something going, man, because it's bleak. It is very bleak.
That it is, but we will see what happens. We're still the Call faithful. We're still Ravens faithful, so we will still be watching on Sunday, but I don't know. I'm going to be holding my breath the entire time because I'm going to be holding my breath during like the intros because I don't even know who's going to be playing. Like that's the thing.
Make sure you breathe out. Don't hold your breath the whole time, dude.
I'm going to breathe in, breathe out, just like Bush told me to. Everything's zen.
Exactly. Speaking of, I peeped your brisket little brisket shindig. I'm telling you what, you're a little chef here.
Oh,
you love to cook. I know you do, man. So appreciate you sharing the wealth on the socials. Peep that. So I see what you're doing. You got your little game day concoctions, and you're a little chef here. So I appreciate that for the tailgate stuff. So I was gonna say, what do you have anything cooking up for Sunday this time, or we got on the menu?
I'm in the office on Sunday. I got to work all weekend.
You're in the office on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm in the office on Sunday. I'm in office Saturday and Sunday. We got a live production this weekend. Okay.
Look at you, man, putting in the time. Are you going to still be like streaming the game somehow, or watching on your phone, or?
Yeah, I'll be using YouTube TV for now because they just dropped the Capitals Monumental Sports Network. So I don't know how much longer I'll be on YouTube TV, but I'll be watching it there for now.
And that's coming up.
Yeah. Yep. Then next Wednesday, this Wednesday, I should say,
coming up
within a week. Yeah.
Tune in to What the Puck. It's coming up.
That's right. That's right. And if you guys enjoyed the brisket video or you haven't seen it yet, you can check it out over on our Facebook as well as YouTube and Instagram. Brando Cash Pod Reels on Instagram, and then Brando Cash Pods over on YouTube, and of course the Facebook with the Call Podcast. But that's what I want to start doing. My fiance actually brought up a saying for this. It's called food ball. That's what we're going to be calling it, food ball. And we're going to, yeah, I love grilling, and Josh, you're going to have to come over and try something I grill. I mean, you had my ham in June. I know you liked the ham.
Yeah, it was very good. I have to say it was very
Camp good. Crystal Lake for Friday the 13th. Get it?
Yes, sir. And it's your season. It is October. It's your season.
It is spooky season.
And there's nothing spookier in this team right now, I'll tell you that.
That is very true. So we're both calling for L's right now, unfortunately. But Josh, have we covered everything for this episode of The Call?
I won't say sadly, but I'm almost relieved. But I would say darkness is definitely there, and there's plenty more. Hopefully not. Quote the Raven, nevermore.
All right, everybody. Well, if you would like to continue the conversation with Josh or I, you can. Check us out over on Facebook, facebook.com/The Call Podcast. Like us over there. Whenever a new show comes out, you'll be the first to know, and you can check out my brisket video there and anything else that we find cool about football we are sharing over on our Facebook page. Make sure you're social with the show. Write us an Apple Podcast review. Rate us over on Spotify. Let people know. Say, I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan. I listen to The Call, and you should too. So that is pretty much it for the show on this Purple Friday. It's the Houston Texans. They're coming to town. The Ravens are back at the bank. So, Josh, take us out the way you always do.
You betcha, Brandon. I wish I had a spirited outro to get the team going. Look, I'm not saying the fire is gone. Say Ravens, whatever reinforcements you have, we just want to see you play like Ravens. Give Derrick Henry the rock, and let's go out and get it. We understand that there's a rash of injuries on this team that's preventing some success. There's an inability to call plays. The defense, the stats are horrible. We get all that. Just go out, put your best foot forward, and play like Ravens. All right? And how about it? Against these Texans, it is a season-saving must-win. Hate to even go there in Week 5, but we are here. Till then, Baltimore Ravens, do you have it in you to pick yourselves up and fly high?
This has been a production of Brando Cash Entertainment. Music by Brad Lepore and Daniel Kelly from the DBK Studio. For more information, go to brandocash.com.